So in my last Speakdom, I was reading through the comment section, and a user by the name of Elda Sensei, get it, Elda Sensei, he said would be interested in a video about the unfairness of life and how to deal with it. So that's kind of what I want to talk about here on this Speakdom is life fair? Is life really fair? Is that a good mentality to have, or is it not? So that's actually the first thing I want to tackle here. So I've personally, and I've talked about this in previous Speakdoms on this channel, I've personally, legitimately felt this way before because of the trauma I've been through when I was younger. I've been ill, chronically ill for a while now with this nerve problem, which I'm hoping to get fixed, sooner than later. I've had my parents and brother die before I even, when I was young. My mom and dad died before I even turned 30. And so because of that, it seems like life is unfair to me because there's other people who still have their parents. And I've said it before. I have gotten angry at life, not at the people who have their parents, because God bless you for having your parents. You should treasure them and love them, whether it's a single parent or both. In general, they're there for you. Say that in general. But for me, I don't have that luxury, and other people do, and it pisses me off. At the same time, though, I have other luxuries that others don't have. You know what I mean? I have a paid-off house, paid-off car. I'm debt-free. These are things that I'm proud of. But at the same time, it's like, I wish I had my parents. I would trade all my money to get my parents back. And I'm not kidding when I say that. And if you're out there, you've lost a parent, you know what I'm talking about. So the whole thing about life being unfair, the older I get, the more I think about this. And the reality is that life is unfair. I mean, things happen, and bad things happen to good people. Now, if you take your actions and your behavior under a telescope or a microscope, whatever, microscope makes more sense, and you look at the things you've done in your life, chances are you're probably not as good of a person as you think you are. You've done some stuff that is bad. You've sinned in the past, whether I mean that literally, biblically, or whatever your own belief system is. You've done something in the past that's bad. No human being can walk this planet without screwing something up. And if you claim that you're that way, you got issues because you're lying. You're lying to yourself and to me. So the truth is, people actually screw up a lot, more often than you could even imagine, and you know what I'm talking about. But as a result of that, that goes back to a different sort of discussion, which is karma real? You know what I mean? Is karma real? And that's going to be your kind of philosophical / religious beliefs, whether or not karma is real. But, a lot of people who are not religious, who don't pick a specific religion, they talk about karma. And I've seen certain karmic things happen to people, but I feel like a lot of that, when you really think about it, is you're putting that sort of energy out into the world, right? For example, I'll give you an actual example. A long time ago, I worked as a field network engineer, and I had a boss who was kind of a dick to me. He would pretty much take all the good work for himself. He would kind of be a dick to me. At one time, we almost got into an actual fight, like literally. He threw a pencil at me, and this is a grown-ass, 40-year-old dude, bro. This is high school shit. And I was working. I was 22 at the time. He was 40-something. And, the guy always put out negative vibes. He was just a very negative person. And I remember there were rumors about him being kind of creepy and this, that, and the third. I heard these rumors, but he still had his job. Well, I remember a few years later, actually about, I want to say 5 years later, I remember... and I'm not even making this up. I don't make anything up here, but the reason why I'm saying this is how shocked I was. The dude got busted in one of those sex child operation sting things, the perverted justice, Chris Hansen stuff. It wasn't To Catch a Predator. It wasn't Chris Hansen, but the dude got busted out here in Florida in one of those sexting operations. It was one of those Craigslist people. I guess the mother had a 13-year-old daughter, and he showed up at the house. They had text messages or DMs or whatever the hell it was, emails, I don't even know. And he got busted in the sting operation. I remember telling my dad, who was alive at the time, and we both had a laugh. Now, was it right for us to laugh at this man's misfortune? Of course not. But at the same time, the dude treated me like crap. I mean, like crap. So was that karma? Or was it just the fact that the dude was always a pervert, and because he was a pervert, because he was, I don't want to say a pedo, but, you know, obviously it seems like he might have been, maybe. I can't call him that, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I don't feel right calling him that. But it's one of those things where, like, you know, this really happened, and it made me think about karma. You know, and then I think back to the things I've done, like, and sometimes when I'm going through, like, one of my bad pain days, I'm over here thinking, like, you know, damn, like, you know, what did I do to deserve this? Because I've tried to be a good person. I have tried my best to be a giving person. I've tried my best to be a selfless person. I've tried to put a positive energy out in the world, even with videos like this. But bad stuff still kind of happens to me, you know what I mean? And I just, sometimes you want to sit there and you shake your fist. And I've seen some people actually get mad at God and all kinds of stuff. I feel like the best mentality to have, and I'm still working on this, okay? So I'm not telling you this from this, like, sensei, master, you know, I know more than you BS. That's not where I'm coming from with this, because I haven't mastered this myself. In fact, I really am working on getting to this point, and that is, number one, understanding that life is fair and unfair. It's completely random, and things just happen, whether they be good or bad. And if we spend all this time asking ourselves, God, why are you doing this to me? Or Mother Nature, or whatever you believe in, you know, sometimes it could be a waste of time. Sometimes it couldn't. I mean, there's been so many times where I've asked, like I said in the past, I've been like, why is this happening to me? You know, what have I done? You know, can I have a break? But there are other things in life that even that out. So sometimes I do get breaks, you know, and life will throw you some breaks. Life throws you curveballs sometimes. So the best mentality to have, I feel, is to just accept the fact that life is unfair and that bad things are going to happen to you and to everybody. One thing you should do to prepare for that, and I talked about this before in the more financial speakdoms, is you got to have an emergency fund. You got to have, you know, I think Dave Ramsey says 3 to 6 months of expenses, and that kind of works. I prefer to go 9 months, but not everybody can do that. And then that way, if something happens to you, and I don't mean like an accident, like, you know, you get hurt or something like that, but I mean, you know, your air conditioning breaks, right? And especially if you're in a hot state, or a hot region of the world, or your car does break down for whatever reason, you know, the alternator goes out or something. You've got the emergency fund there to where, you know what, I've got money, I'll be okay, let me go ahead and rebuild that. That's one thing that helps, is kind of being prepared for whatever life throws at you. That's number one. But of course, I've been in positions before where I've been broke and I haven't been able to do that, you know, and part of the reason as to why I've been broke has been my fault, but other parts it wasn't. It was just bad luck, you know, and that's one thing that I certainly will tell you, that I don't really believe in like good luck charms, like lucky rabbit's foot. I don't believe in that. All right, if you do, cool, but I personally don't believe in like that kind of stuff. Superstitious is the word, I think. But if you look at life like, you know what, something bad's gonna happen to me eventually. Don't think something bad's gonna happen to you every day, but like, something bad's going to happen to you eventually, right? And if you're just kind of bracing for it and it happens, at that point, your next goal would be, okay, well, how do I overcome this pain that I'm in, you know? Basically, you have to just accept the fact, like literally accept the fact that bad stuff is going to happen to you. Some small, some big. And the only thing you can really do is just keep moving. I mean, it's hard to really say this, but the truth is that life really is unfair. You know, good people die young, or you know, you see babies getting, you know, being born ill and things like that. Like, I had an email from a guy the other day who told me that he lost his child. You know what I mean? I've lost my parents, but I've never been in the position to ever lose a kid. I don't have any kids, but I've heard it's just as bad, if not worse. I've heard that before from people who have lost children with miscarriages and things like that, and deaths at birth, and even young child dying. Like, that's just, I don't know how someone can recover from that without years and years of therapy. But I'm not trying to sit here and say, well, too bad, life is unfair. But the reality is, if we're looking at this objectively, life does throw BS at you, and it's not fair. You know, I feel like most people, especially you guys who are listening to this right now, you're lawful citizens. I mean, you might pirate a couple games once in a while or watch a fan sub of something, but I think you still, for all intents and purposes, you don't try to hurt other people. At least I would hope not. You don't try to, like, steal from other people. You know, individuals. You don't try to, sexually assault other people. It doesn't seem like something that y'all would do. Well, I mean, I don't know you guys, but I'm saying I would hope not. So I feel like most people are lawful. Most people do believe in the law, or at least believe in just living a good life and not screwing around with other people. So just that gives me comfort in knowing that. And no, you don't deserve the pain that you get, but you know what? We're all human beings. And if you're a Christian, you know that theoretically we all believe it or we all deserve, because Adam fell to sin. So we all are kind of cursed thanks to Adam. That's one of the theologies behind Christianity, or really Judaism in some ways too. Not going too deep into that, but I mean, I'm seeing a lot of religions think that we're pretty much doomed here to be in pain until the afterlife, and there might be truth to that, because pain cannot really be escaped. At some point, you're going to go through pain. So I would say just when it happens, it sucks. Trust me, I know I've been through it, but you just have to remember that you ain't the only one. You ain't the only one. You're on a planet with billions. And chances are what's happened to you has happened to at least a few million, right? Come on now. So, yeah. I don't know if it gives you comfort, but it's the truth. Thanks for watching.